Hey my lovelies, I hope you're all safe and well. It's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this Wednesday's Facebook card reveals for you all. So, before we look at the cards, just to remind you that this week I'm working with my own deck, which is the Rocky Horror Show deck, which is the Don't Dream It, Be It Tarot. This is available to purchase on my website. It's also available at Carpe Noctem in Frome, just to be letting you guys know, should you be drawn to it. Limited edition deck, this one. So once I've kind of sold all the copies, we probably won't do another print run of this. So just be aware if you are a Rocky Horror Show fan. And if you're not, I apologise this week because it's an acquired taste, but I wanted to use a bit of a playful deck this week. So let's have a look. If you were drawn to card number 1, we're going into the energy of the Death card. I just love the pictation of this. Obviously, these are from the film and the show, so if you haven't seen this, you'll probably be like, I have no idea what's going on here. So apologies about that. But if you know, then you know. However, let's look at death. So obviously when death shows, in the first instance, there could be some sort of transition that's just happened or been happening around you. So if there are people that have been in ill health and have recently crossed over or about to cross over that you would know of, then this could just be acknowledging that. However, usually when death shows, it's needing to sort of break away from something. It's needing to close something off that isn't working for us, essentially. And what I love with the pictation, old Rocky and Frankenfurter are getting buzzed by the laser beam by Riff Raff here, and essentially, you know, they felt it was dangerous for those people to continue being in their world, being alive, essentially. So it's quite a good pictation to use for death because it's suggesting and saying that an aspect of your world perhaps isn't serving, perhaps isn't working for you in the way that it needs to, and you need to remove it, you need to extinct it in whatever way, or make some changes. You know, death often wants to just really encourage a bit of a wake-up call, a bit of a shake-up, and, you know, is this good enough? Is this working for us? Or has something or someone got to go? So maybe you might be moving away or disconnecting from friendship circles or family members or other connections that are no longer healthy or no longer working for you. Perhaps you are removing other areas of life to make sort of room for improvements. Could be change around job or career. Perhaps there's going to be living changes, a new home, or selling of a property, or changing of an estate agent if a place isn't selling. So many things it could be. You know, behaviors. Sometimes if you know that you're not in the healthiest of behavior patterns, it's owning that and it's making some changes. Whatever and however it shows up for you. But death is encouraging you to close the doors that don't lead anywhere in order to open up the new doors. And essentially death wants to bring in peace. Peace can prevail over the kind of collective or higher situation of whatever you're up against or going through. So do remember, peace is wanting to come in off the back of this, you know, even if it seems a little bit unruly or a little bit unsightly in the moments. Okay, so as we're moving into the second card, we're going into the energy of the lovers. These are cracking me up because they're telling such a cool story. So see if I can bring that in close so you can just see the artwork, because the artwork by Mistress J is amazing on these decks. So lovers, in the first instance, lovers is always about self-care, self-love. Once that's in place, once that's being sort of actually properly actioned and understood, then it spills and it ripples around us in other areas. So if you're someone that is single, perhaps you're opening up your heart to a new connection. Maybe there's going to be a new adventure and a new romance that comes in. Certainly new connections with people. If you are already with a partner, maybe there's a need for new adventures. Careful what adventures you go on. It doesn't need to be quite an adventure like this that Brad and Janet go on. But sometimes lovers just needs to acknowledge a little bit of connection, a little bit of time together, doing something and everything else. And occasionally this can also represent if you've lost like a loved lover or a loved one that's now in the spirit world. Sometimes it's reminiscing, sometimes it's just looking over those adventures, those memories you've got to have with somebody. So yes, they may be no longer physically in your world and physically in your life, but sometimes it's just the reminder of the adventures and the things that you got to go on, the experiences you got to have with a partner that now watches on and walks with you from the world of spirit. But it's all about self-love, and whatever and however it shows up for you, those energies, those experiences can create a situation where you can harness and take love for yourself, whether it is on a single dimension or on a collective vibration, you know. So it's interesting. But yeah, I just love the dictation of this. What makes me laugh, I just feel like, you know, if they'd have just sort of stayed having a nice little date night, they wouldn't have kind of had the adventure that they ended up having, you know. Yeah, so be careful with what you sign up for as well, I think. And finally, as we're moving into card number 3, we're going into the energy of the devil. Now, this is kind of further on in the journey. So Brad and Janet, as you can see, are enslaved and captured by Frankenfurter. And are they really trapped? Are they really caught up? Yes, the whip in this case is around their feet, but are they sort of like just getting overwhelmed? Are they choosing to stay stuck there? Is the devil as imposing? Is the character as imposing as they feel it to be? So when the devil shows, it could be that there is a physical person around you that maybe is causing you problems at the moment. So maybe you're feeling entrapped, maybe you're feeling imprisoned by someone, like someone's actions or someone's behavior, and maybe that is actually feeling quite overwhelming for you at the moment. But look a little bit deeper. Are you really imprisoned, or is the character or the behavior that you're being met with just very loud, just very aggressive, just very theatrical, very full on? Because sometimes we actually can set ourselves free. Now, sometimes the devil is also the imprisonment of our own thoughts and feelings. So it's not always necessarily an actual physical person. Sometimes it's the energy that we choose to buy into, what we choose to sort of feel into. So sometimes we almost choose to restrict ourselves and create our own self-entrapment that might not actually even be real. So be mindful of that as well. The other side of the devil, sometimes this can represent forbidden fruit. So maybe you're reaching a stage at the moment where you feel like everything is very routine, everything is very robotic, and maybe there's a side of you that is a little bit of a cheeky devil and wants to come out and play and maybe taste some type of forbidden fruit. But go careful, tread careful with that, because sometimes things feel very tempting in the moment, but are they actually sustainable? Because the devil sometimes likes to play on our desires, on our darker side. We all have a darker side. And so maybe some of you are feeling into the movements and the energy of that at the moment. But just think very carefully before you act upon anything. Is it worth it? Is anybody going to get hurt in the process? Are you running the risk of getting hurt in the process? So there's that element to think about as well. So an interesting card, this one. So I'm going to leave that with you and I hope it resonates, makes a little bit of sense. So what do I need to let you know about? A couple of cheeky shouts. First of all, just want to say that this coming Thursday, tomorrow, I am over in Carpe Noctem in Frome doing the first of our evening readings for this year. And there is one space available, which is the 8:30 slot. So if you want to grab that, pop over to the website, book it in. It would be great to see you there. And then on Friday, I'm over in Colour and Crystals in Trowbridge doing a sold out night of private readings. Thank you very much if you're coming to see me there. And then on Saturday, I'm back over in Carpe Noctem in Frome doing another day of private one-to-one readings. And again, we have one space left for the Saturday, which is I think it's either 3 o'clock or 3:30, I can't quite remember. But it's all on the website when you go to book on. So it's an exciting time. Lots of exciting things are happening. Plus I'm also doing the Zooms. I'm also doing private sort of voicemail, email reads. So there's lots of stuff I'm doing in between. So thank you very much for all the love and the support. Also, you may have seen that Isle of Wight is now gone live on the tour dates. So you can pop over. It's not till the 12th of September. It's a little way off. But get booking that one. I did it last year at the Trinity Theatre and it was amazing. So I'm very excited to be back there this year. So that's gone live. I think pretty much all the shows now are live that I've been sort of in talks with. But I'm still looking for potential other places. So if there's somewhere you would like me to come to, then obviously let me know. And if it's possible, I will try and get a booking. A few people have been asking me about kind of Radstock and Bristol. At the moment, there's no plans to do anything there because I have the big one in Wookey Hole. So I would prefer people to try and support the Wookey Hole Theatre show, which that one is happening. Let me just check when that is. Oh, wrong diary. Let's just have a look. That one is happening on Friday, the 15th of May. So if you're able to get to Wookey Hole and you're in and around Wells, Glastonbury, Bristol, Radstock, that's one to come to. If you can't get to that one, we also have, for those that are saying about Radstock, we have the Froome show. That's coming up as well. There's loads of them on there, so just check them out. But yeah, it's not always logistically possible to go to every single town, you know? So sometimes people have to travel a little bit. But support what is already set up, rather than worrying about the ones that actually haven't yet come to be, sort of thing. So if you know that you can physically get to one of the ones, you know, buy a ticket, support, because it's a hard time for performance events at the moment. So I really want to work hard on the spaces that I am in, rather than sort of spreading myself too thin. I'd rather kind of do lesser shows but better quality shows in those locations. Yeah, so I think that's it really. So have a beautiful week, look after yourselves, and I will catch up with some of you lovelies very soon. And I hope this week's messages make a little bit of sense. Gonna leave it with you. Take care, much love, bye for now.